Hello and welcome to Second Innings with Mustafa Himani. I'm very excited as this is our very first episode of our Masters Cricket USA podcast. It is certainly a historic day for all the Masters Cricket USA community. Now, what is MCUSA? I've heard so much about this when I was turning 50. As my friends were associated, they were playing, and I was interested in playing too. But to be honest, I was very skeptical going in that I thought bunch of 50-year-old guys playing cricket and on top of that playing 45 over games for multiple days. I wasn't too sure about the quality of the cricket or intensity of the competition. But as soon as I went in and played a few games after a few tournaments, I was certainly proven wrong. The competition is fierce, the quality of cricket is great, and not to mention the bragging rights between the players throughout USA. There's about 156, and I'm just exaggerating, WhatsApp groups where people can brag about everything and anything. I mean, we get to play on some of the finest grounds since every game is played on turf cricket. And it's not just about cricket on the field. There's a lot of off the field activities that Masters Cricket USA provide. The networking events, a lot of friendships have formed, and I have made some good friends and made some really good connections through Masters Cricket USA. Started with over 50, fast forward to today, MCUSA has become a big force. They offer age group crickets for 4 different groups, over 40, over 50, over 60, and over 70 as well. Yes, you heard it right, over 70 as well. Masters Cricket USA has become big really fast, and I want to bring in 2 gentlemen here who were pioneers of Masters Cricket USA. I don't know what their official title is, but I call them the Dons of MCUSA. I want to welcome Dr. Parag Ananta and Syed Shahnawaz to the show. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Hema. Truly appreciate it. You're being very kind. Really thankful for getting this podcast started. And this being the first podcast, really honored to be a guest.
You look very nice and clean. I've never seen you outside of your Master Cricket uniform, so glad that you were able to clean up for this show.
I did. I mean, there was a lot that I had to take care of, but I'm glad for a change. I mean, the Masters uniform is off, but I'm missing it though. But thank you. Thank you very much. Fantastic summary of the whole journey, and really appreciate you putting this together. It was long overdue. So I bet it took a lot of time and effort to kind of put this concept together, plan for it, and now finally executing it. Thank you so much, Hema. I really appreciate it.
Obviously, my pleasure. So let me start with Dr. Ananta. So tell us the viewers, how did this whole thing started? Were you just bored out of your mind one day, or were you not getting enough batting chances in your local league and you said, you know what, I'm just going to start my own league? Tell the viewers about our MCUSA journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, the truth is age is undefeated, right? I mean, we've been playing cricket all our lives. And, people from, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and all other, British colonial countries have cricket in their blood, and they've been playing that since a very young age. Now, we've been playing leagues here in the United States, which are obviously not, age defined. So we get to a point where now you're competing with teenagers and 20-year-old players. And, you get to a point where you say, yeah, I'm still good, but the writing is on the wall. So we had 2 options. We had one option where we said, all right, we give up, we hang up our boots and say, done with cricket. Or we come up with a platform where we can still continue to play cricket on a level playing field. So I got my first opportunity, believe it or not, because I was on a tour to England, and there it was mentioned that there was a World Cup of over 50s cricket that's going to be played in South Africa. And I was invited to come and try out for the India team. So we went to India, Mumbai, went to the trials, and I was lucky enough to get picked on that India team. And we went to South Africa, Cape Town. And this was in 2020. Unfortunately, this was exactly the time, it was March of 2020. We played, I think, 2 games, and then COVID hit with full force. The tournament had to be abandoned and we had to return home. But that was like smelling blood for us. Those 2 games that we played in South Africa was such a thrill that when we were coming back, it was me, Dilip, and Deepak who had initially gone there. And when we were coming back, we said, I'm pretty sure there are many more people in the United States like us who would want to play this kind of cricket. Let's see and explore if we can start something in the United States. And then we initially started off with a tournament that we kind of, announced on Facebook in Houston in April of 2021. And lo and behold, we had 4 teams that showed up. And, to that day, now fast forward, like you said, 4 years now. Now we have 4 age groups, and people are battling in, especially in the 40s and the 50s, to get into our national tournaments. So that's a brief history of where it started, Mustafa. But I'm really glad we started it. Not as much for the cricket. One of the things you mentioned was friendships. Just to point out, I did not know any of the people on this discussion today, either Shabai or you or Rafe or anybody else, before Masters started. Apart from thrilling cricket, what Masters has given me is a whole bunch of new friends and a new social circle that I so love. So
That's great. So bringing Shabai in, Shabai, did you expect Masters Cricket USA to grow this fast, this big, in this short amount of time?
To be very honest, Hema, I mean, again, a great question, right? When Paraguay first reached out, and that is after multiple attempts, by the way, so we couldn't connect. And when I found out about this whole concept, to be completely honest, didn't know what to expect, right? But regardless, we thought, here you go. There's an opportunity here and some cricket, so let's go play. But did I think this would take off at the pace and scale that it is today? Absolutely no. But what was truly amazing was the belief this gentleman on the phone here, Parag Bhai, all along, right? I mean, the confidence, the faith that he had in this wonderful, novel idea, the concept of a master's platform, I could see it in his eyes right from day one. I mean, maybe it didn't come across that way to a lot of people, including me. But here we are 4 years later. Absolutely. I think it's doing wonderful. I mean, we have come a long ways. Whoever thought this would, again, segment into age groups, right? I mean, started off with 50s, as you rightfully pointed out. And this has been an amazing story, right? So again, credit to this gentleman and some of the folks who were involved early on to push this idea through, right? Persistent and put in a lot of time, effort, and I'm so glad it happened. I think in a lot of ways, I would go to the extent of saying this has changed people's lives. I mean, not taking it lightly when I say that. I think this whole concept has truly changed people's lives, and that acknowledgement and appreciation goes to him, and now the tons and dozens of volunteers, committee members, and can't even, I think, in one single breath name people. I mean, it's because it's so exhaustive. That list is so long.
Yeah, definitely. I've been part of some of the volunteering committees and I've worked with a lot of volunteers. It's a thankless job, but definitely kudos to all the volunteers that are attached with different aspects of organizing a tournament or doing anything for Masters. It's a great job and we need to commend. Parag bhai, since Masters Cricket USA has come up, there's so many other veteran cricket tournaments have popped up. There's like a tournament, it seems like happening every month, every other month. How do you see yourself differentiating between the other veteran cricket brands versus yourself? What do you see as far as the vision for MCUSA in the next 2 to 5 years?
Now, let me just go back to what Shabai was saying before. It is true that I had to call him at least about 10 times before he returned my call. The first time around, I had to wait about a month. But one of the things he had said after our initial conversations and after our first tournament, I still remember. He said, Parag bhai, this is going to become really big. Watch my words. And I was just saying, we just had one tournament of 4 teams, and this man is predicting this to become something big. And I said, yeah, whatever. I laughed it off. But he was absolutely right. He probably professed it, but I did not expect it to be this big. Now, coming back to your question of what Masters cricket is, we kind of, take pride in the way we conduct our tournaments. As you know, cricket is played everywhere in the United States. You have league cricket, you have tennis ball cricket, you have pretty much, all kinds of cricket that goes on. We made a conscious decision that we being masters, we deserve the best. So we said quality is absolutely important and non-negotiable. So we said we will only play on the best grounds in the country, and we will play only with the best equipment, the best umpires, the best streaming, and the best of everything that we can afford. So when you come to a Masters tournament, we kind of call it more of a Masters experience. If you want to go play cricket, there are many places where you can go and play cricket. But to have a Masters experience right from the beginning to the end, including our meet and greets, our banquets, the way we conduct our games, our streaming, everything is taken care of. So it's more like a social festival where cricket is a part. So it's just not only cricket, it's much more than cricket. So that's where I think Masters has created a niche in cricket in the USA, where people expect something of Masters cricket. And thankfully, to date, we have been able to deliver for the most part.
Yeah, and I can certainly attest to the fact that the Masters experience is absolutely amazing. Like before I started Masters, I'd never thought of playing at the Grand Prairie Stadium and some of the other facilities and watching myself after the game, the recording and the highlights. So the Masters experience so far truly has been really amazing. Speaking of the Masters experience, Shabai, I've been hearing rumblings that sustainability of this, as far as pay and play model, is kind of becoming a bit more expensive for some of the players. Every time they come in, it's cost them money and obviously all of that. So how do you plan to keep that element in control as far as the sustainability and the out-of-pocket cost for players?
No, it's a fair question. I think, as Parag Bhai pointed out early on, that bar was raised so high. And in principle, I think we were completely aligned. And what I mean by that is no compromise on quality, right? It's that experience. And the other key word he used was a festive environment, right? Cricket, yeah. There are tons of tournaments that are organized across the country, right? But this concept was meant to be a little different, and actually not a little, in a lot of ways different. It was about that experience. And yes, with that said, everything comes with a price tag, right? It's not easy, especially in today's environment. Given all the challenges, costs getting impacted for various reasons, it has never been an easy journey, right? So I completely understand from a user or a player perspective the question, right, as to, oh my God, is this even sustainable? How are we planning to actually make sure we continue to keep up with this concept, right? And that's where I think sponsorship plays a key role, Hema. And that has been our emphasis, over the last couple of years. And by sponsorship, we definitely don't mean it's bringing the money and that's how you get to play, right? Given the little network we have established over the years, right? Our request, I guess we are pleading to all these players, participants, right? The least that you can do is perhaps bring us leads, bring us ideas, perhaps ways that we could get far more efficient. We can keep improving.
Yes, Shabai, speaking of the sponsors, and sorry, it's just because this next question leads into that. Speaking of sponsors, what is the single pitch before you get the leads? How do you pitch these sponsors? Like, what kind of ROI you can pitch to them so that you can get them on the table and then bring the MCUSA executives to come in and close the deal? How do I sell someone? Like, I have a few sponsors, and I'm sure a lot of Masters members, they know someone who knows someone and they can get connected. But how do you do the initial pitch to kind of bring them to the table?
Great question again, right? I mean, I think what we have as an audience is unique, Hema, right? By unique, I mean, look at the profiles, right? I mean, at that age, people are fairly well settled, and maybe the 40s a little different, but then when you look at the 50 plus age group, 60s and so forth, pretty well settled, right? Not just settled. If you had to look at their profiles, right? I mean, their accomplishments, be it academic, be it business professional. I mean, a lot of these folks are, entrepreneurs, they're business executives, I mean, health professionals, name it, right? I mean, those are the kind of backgrounds that we are talking about, which kind of becomes a very potent audience for potential investors. You talked about ROI, right? I mean, in particular, I mean, if you had to look at the healthcare sector, right? Insurance industry, I mean, if you had to look at the high tech or technology industry, right? I mean, there is immense potential there for investors to leverage and be able to take advantage of, that audience or that target group. So that's what we are hoping would resonate and companies would get the message, right? I mean, we were limited in terms of how we went about publicizing, branding, but in the last year, dramatically, just to throw in some numbers, social media alone, 2025. So that's telling you a story. And not just the US. We seem to be getting some good traction and attention globally as well. There was a game in the 60s, I believe I forgot the two teams, and we had about 11,000 people viewing that game. So it wasn't just the US, right? So all of this is telling us, if it's organized right, done professionally, and branded the right way, there is interest, right? And that's where we are hoping to actually get some interest, some involvement, and some leads so that, we can hopefully try and actually take advantage of that. End of the day, back to your question, to try and minimize that overhead, that burden for our players and participants. Hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. And those are some really good numbers as far as the viewership and social media. Parag Bhai, briefly, we've seen the cost of, doing games at these beautiful grounds and the availability with so much cricket coming up. Sometimes you are at the mercy of these ground operators to have the ground available for the desired dates for the tournaments. Are there any plans to have MCUSA facility where you don't have to depend on any other ground, any other city, and basically have your own facility? And that may also involve cutting down the cost, and some of the payments that we collect from the players go towards paying the rental for these grounds. Maybe that can go towards paying our own Masters Cricket USA ground.
We definitely have talked about it, Hema, but I'm not so sure financially that is a viable alternative. For starters, because most of our tournaments require multiple grounds, right? At least 6, if not 8. Even 8 grounds are not being enough right now. But in us owning a facility and running a facility throughout the year may not be something that is financially viable. But there is some very interesting news that we've kind of tried to partner with somebody to see if we can get first dibs on grounds that might help us run these tournaments. I will let Shabai was again at the head of this initiative, and I will let Shabai talk about the Dominican connection that we have tried to establish. Shabai.
True. The goal really was to see how we can further scale this, Hema, right? So thankfully, again, back to the audience, some wonderful members that we already have. One of them, for confidentiality reasons, didn't want to bring up his name, but he's in a pretty higher up position with Google. So the gentleman reached out to us through another cricket acquaintance, Monty, That I think I can disclose. But anyway, the idea was, what's stopping us after what happened in Dubai? The question was, what's stopping us to take this concept outside of the US and make it even more special? And that's how the whole discussion of Dominican Republic, in particular the city of Cap Cana, right? So Google was already in talks with, the DR, and obviously as part of their tech initiatives, cricket was one of the discussions. So the concept of cricket, the interest, global interest, being the second most popular game after soccer, that definitely resonated with the officials, the government officials there. And that's where there was a pitch made, a literal, not like a cricket pitch, but a real pitch about potentially having the basic infrastructure in place in Cap Cana, DR, so that we can host international events, right? Similar to what we had in Dubai, which sounded like a crazy idea back then, but it ended up being one of the best tournaments Masters ever organized. So keeping that in mind, we felt, testing the waters out to work with such initiatives so that we can try and keep that foot on the pedal for future plans, so that hopefully in 2 years' time, we would have wonderful facilities, a destination venue, one of the best cities in the world, with subsidized rates, where the government is willing to jump in and help us out. So we truly, truly hope that will come to fruition, and, hopefully we'll have such games in the near future. But those are the kind of things. And one point I wanted to bring up, back to your question about sponsorship. Yes, it's a burden on players, but I think it's also important for everybody to understand there's no such thing as, variable expenses that go towards, a huge amount that goes towards overhead costs, right? So everything that's being done is based on a voluntary based work model, right? So we have minimal overheads. That's again mainly to be able to use part of those funds towards charity initiatives, use some of those funds towards our basic administrative costs, taxes, maintaining, the books or whatever, pay the CPAs and so forth. But there's absolutely nothing, I keep repeating that goes to individuals, right? It's all about how do we make the most out of each tournament and make this a meaningful experience for all the players.
All right, there was some really good conversation with the two dons of Masters Cricket USA, Syed Shah Nawaz and Dr. Parag Ananta. We'll have to cut it short, unfortunately, but if you just turned 40 and if you just turned 50 and you still have the desire to play cricket and you haven't heard of Masters Cricket USA, get out of your house, get out of your cave, go to the MCUSA website, find your local zonal regional representative, get into the game. If you are good and if you perform, you get to tour some beautiful countries as part of the Masters Cricket USA squad. If you check all the boxes of the selection criteria and fit all the computational cells of Shahbai's infamous spreadsheet, you get to tour with the USA Masters team.
That's changed, by the way.
Oh, that's changing. I just want to do quickly true or false, and this is completely fun. Parag bhai, true or false that you refused the captaincy of the North team because you said, why do I have to take the title of being a captain when I can do everything that a captain does without being a captain?
True.
True. Awesome. And Shahbai, true or false, in your selection spreadsheet, you have points allocated for international tours. True or false that you just added 20 points against your name because you just visited India for your nephew's wedding? International
I did. True.
All right. This was all fun, but thank you again, Dr. Ananta, Shah bhai. This was really great. Wish MCUSA all the best and for all the future tournaments. Thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. We have some good conversations, some good guests coming up right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Yash Technologies is among the largest independent global technology providers with headquarters in the United States. With over 4,000 worldwide employees, we pride ourselves on being large enough to offer a complete portfolio of IT services, while being small enough to provide personalized attention and customer service. Yash strives to provide excellent IT support by partnering with our clients to build lasting relationships and transform their business. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
It's an impossible shot.
Sometimes creativity and innovation are all it takes to achieve the impossible. Yash Technologies, more than what you think.
All right, welcome back to Second Innings. I'm your host, Mustafa Himani. We had an interesting conversation with Dr. Parag Ananta and Sayyid Shahnawaz. Before we move on to our next segment, our next set of guests, let's take a look on our screen for the upcoming calendar. It's packed. Masters Cricket USA calendar for all age groups, starting with over 40s. They're having their nationals in Houston in April, and this is for the first time. They're having two nationals, the T20 and 45 over nationals. This is for age group 40, happening in April in Houston. A lot of exciting cricket, a lot of days of cricket coming up. Then they have the zonals coming up at a new venue. This is the first time a Masters Cricket USA tournament is happening in Albany. Heard some good things about the facility. They're having their zonals in Albany in June. Then they have the quad series plan. Obviously everything is subject to change, but as of now, quad series plan, international series with USA and 3 more teams. That's happening in August. And then we have the big one, the World Cup, the over 45 World Cup for 40 and over age group in the West Indies. A lot of excitement, a lot of players going for the final spot in the USA team, touring the West Indies for the World Cup, a marquee event. Hopefully this will be a good event for age 40. For 50 and over, right off the bat, over 55 team is going to South Africa to play a series. South Africa, a lot of players have gone to South Africa in the previous World Cup. A good venue to play cricket, some great competition against a very good South African team. That's over 55. Then we have the Australian team. I believe for the very first time, Team Australia coming with 2 teams, Australia and Australia A, coming to Houston to play against USA and USAA. That's happening in Houston in May. And then we move on to the 45 over national in August. That's happening in Houston. Houston being a very familiar venue for over 50 for Masters Cricket USA in general. And then we have the zonals in October, and that's going to be at the beautiful Grand Prairie Stadium in Dallas. Seems like Dallas has become a home for zonals. Really fine facility. A lot of players will be playing there for the first time. It's such a nice facility and you get value for the shot. So zonals happening for over 50 in October. Then we move on to the over 60 group. They have the 45 over nationals again at Albany. So seems like Albany is becoming a permanent feature in terms of venue for Masters Cricket USA. Then the big one, the over 60 World Cup. That's happening in Toronto. Yes, Toronto, Canada. That's happening in August. And then we have again the next cycle of nationals in October, and that's TBD. It's going to be either Atlanta or Houston. And then coming up to the 70, so far the big World Cup is happening for over 70 in February, just next month in New Zealand. So a lot of action-packed calendar for Masters Cricket USA, a lot of cricket for all age groups, big year ahead. Let's move on to our next set of guests. Well, wait, before we move on to the next set of guests, to play all these tournaments, especially for over 50 age group, you need a lot of fitness. You need to be in tip-top shape. And following all these WhatsApp groups, I see so many players posting pictures of their workout stats, what they do and all of that. So what we did is we wanted to see what exactly do they do, how do they burn calories, maybe a bit educational for all of us to see how do they burn all these calories, how do they exercise, what's their training regimen. So We start with one of the Masters Cricket USA prominent players, Sanjeeva. Sanjeeva has been the captain, ex-captain of Masters Cricket USA national team. Let's see, this is Sanjeeva's, you can see on the screen, Sanjeeva's stat. I believe he posted this today or yesterday. He always follows this workout routine, following a female workout tutor and follow. So let's see what our MSA is saying. MSA, our Master Spy Agency. We kind of spread our people to see exactly how they do their, how they go about doing their workouts. So let's see. I've never seen this video, so I'll be seeing it for the first time. I'm just getting these videos as coming up. So let's see, Sanjeeva working out. I'm excited. I want to see how he does. Maybe I can follow some tips. Oh, that's not what I was expecting. Not at all. Maybe this was a bad day for Sanjeeva. He is definitely not burning those calories. So, but maybe it's a bad day. Maybe it was a cheat day. Let's move on.